Hi, right, so I'm back here again on my lovely bit of work here on a mimic board. And what I've been doing actually, the last couple of evenings, I've been gradually taking apart my mock-up that I had under here that was powering both these points, here and here, which is 6 and 7 on here. And basically, the way this one works, nice and simple, is that uh, one button does 2 points at once. And I'll come back to that in a minute because weirdly I've now have a problem with it doing what it was doing before. As per usual with this layout, everything seems to go wrong once I make one change. So anyway, so that's all wired in. So now here's the change. So what I've done is I've wired in everything around here. The common is this green and yellow one that you can see going all the way around, and this comes all the way over to this side where I've now moved the CDU to, which you can see hanging over here. The CDU is absolutely fine on its own in moving points, but over this side, again, I've got the same situation. If you come back to that mimic board, I've got the same situation here with 2 and 3, so that's this point here and this point in here. They are controlled by 2 momentary switches. Nice and simple, right? So the idea is that CDU is more than capable of powering both those points at the same time and flipping those switches. And I know that because, of course, it was working absolutely fine over here previously. Yeah, so I'm going to stop there. We'll talk about points, CDUs and electrics in a minute. So basically this is all wired in. I've actually got this blue and brown in now all the way around, which is actually going to be the accessories one, because as you might have seen from some of my pictures I've been putting up in posts, I've been playing around with lights. So up on the station we've got some lights. In fact, there was one there that I seem to have pushed over. Here he is hiding over there. So there's a light in there that will, be all put into the layout. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there for a minute as I was trying to think of what to go on next. Yeah, so that's what I've been doing. A bit of electrics over here. There's another tree. I've been working some trees as well, which thanks for those that commented on my post about those. I think I'm set with having the smaller one at the front and the larger one at the back. That one might be a bit too large, but I think it looks all right. It looks quite good actually. I have to say I've had not the greatest experience with my box of mixed seafoam from wwscenics, but they have been incredible about the way that they've handled my comments. I've emailed them and they're handling it absolutely fine. Really good communication, and explained end of harvest stock can sometimes not necessarily be exactly what they wish, so can't blame them for that response. I'm just waiting to see what gets offered back. And yep, and over here, as you see, I've now put in some landform into this corner. This was actually done using brown poster paint, and then what I've done is used some tights over my little bird's eye chili flakes here, so that basically enables me to get quite a fine dust over there. And the little pebbles are caused from when I mixed in some of that, what is it called? I keep on forgetting what this stuff is called. Well, you know what it is, the tile grout, that's it. Yeah, so that's all done. So yeah, bit of progress. So made a bit of progress there. All this track is also glued in place. So back to electrics and some fun. I have the problem now where this CDU, now that it's fully wired into every single point, behaves differently to when it's just connected, when it was previously connected over the other side. And that's on both of these points where I'm trying to move 2 points at the same time. It no longer moves both points. It always seems to move the one on the left but not the one on the right. So that's the same here, and that's the same over here. I will stop there and do some demonstrations of that. I'll include some demonstrations so that you can see. But weirdly, it's intermittent as well, which is even stranger. So I'll cut now, and I'll come back to you. Okay, so as you can see, same as I had it before. Just basically pulling off the switch. So these two here, the switches coming in. These two, put my finger in. This is exactly how I had it before. I added the rest of the wire to, before I added the common return, the green and yellow. So I don't know if that has an impact. And obviously before I moved the CDU. So the CDU is over the other side. But the trouble is I would say that would be a clue to the problem, but this set of points, this one and over here, do exactly the same as this. So something's changed and it's very weird, but yeah, watch this. So again, you can see the point, you can hear it, it's struggling to move. The other one is working absolutely fine. And if I manually switch it, it goes over fine, and it will switch back into place that side. So again, electrics, it's fun, but it's annoying. Just I wish I knew a little bit more. So if anybody has any ideas, I'd be really happy to hear it. What I should say is I've tested the voltage from the CDU. It is around about 24 volts at the output. I've tested the output from the CDU, so the end of this grey wire at this point. Where are we? In here. So from just using a multimeter, that's in there, and on the opposite side down there, and that's again 24, so it's retaining the voltage across that grey wire. Does current have an influence? I don't know, but this is the same wire that I had working on it before, so this is actually the same wire. I did try to use some speaker cable, which I thought might be the problem. That's what I had used there before, this one. So I was trying to use that, and I thought that might be a problem. But I mean, it's pretty solid stuff. So I thought that would be the issue. Yeah, I just don't know what's doing it. I don't understand. At all. So yeah, I'm gonna have a ponder and play around. I've looked online. There's like people have found it's like the charge on the capacitor, the CDU, but the CDU is at 24 volts, so it should have enough power. Very weird. And what I have found is sometimes it will just magically spring into life and start working again, which is always really good fun, because then you've got no idea of knowing what's going on. Yeah, so I'll stop there, but be really interested to learn if anyone else has had these problems. Some advice would be greatly needed. Again, thank you. I think I've made some progress. I've actually removed my excellent mimic board to see whether it was the mimic board. So just trying to do, kind of work back from the basics and go from there. So CDU over there, grey wire is the positive or negative, I can't remember, but that's going into the middle of this switch, and this switch is basically controlling then. It's actually wired, you see, to wire up to that point, but also running off to that point over there. So this is exactly how I had it originally. right back to basics, and I can't really do it whilst I'm talking on the phone as well, but although it's not a momentary switch I'm using here, it's actually a toggle switch. I have to be careful not to leave it on for too long. You can see that it's actually, you can hear the sound difference. I've got 2 points working in tandem. So it's working over here. Quite why it's working on there, but not on my Mimic board, which was working, I have no idea. And as that was only a test of kind of the how it's going to be, or it was kind of like looking at a concept, because what my idea is that with these, I think these are like 15 pin things, I can't remember, yeah. So the idea with this is that each of these red wires is going to be hooked up to here, and that will correspond to the same on the points themselves. So the points will all connect to one of these bases back on somewhere on the layout. So, you know, whether it was connected here, and then I plug in, and then I can plug and go, and everything will be connected to the one Mimic board. That's the idea. That's the theory around it anyway. But I just want to get the basics of it working again and not worry about overcomplicating things for now. So yeah, a bit of progress. Going back to some of the update earlier, because I haven't actually given an update on this, but this is one of the trees I've been making. So I've been working out how to use seafoam and wire. Actually, I'm pretty pleased with some of these trees. So this one here, I've basically built it up with wire, twisting, and then what I've actually done for the bark effect here is PVA and then the tile grout on top. So once that goes then and dries, I then spray it with black, and then I've been sort of experimenting with different colours. So this is one of the brown sprays. It's quite satin. So satin. So I might have another go at that one over there. But this one is looking okay, and it's got it's dulled down a little bit. But I'll probably give this one a little bit of a paint of grey, acrylic just over the top to die down some of the shininess. Yeah, I covered earlier what I've been doing over here, so I don't think I need to necessarily give you any more updates on this. I'm going to go back over and see if I can wire up these two to work in a similar way to over here with just a simple switch, and just make sure it works all like that, and then probably at some stage revisit this Mimic board and work out how it's got wrong with it. But yeah, so thanks for joining. Be interested to get anybody's comments about why it might have been, if you've had a similar experience. As I say, I've not changed anything else other than the fact that I've put that switch in and taken that out. So I've got no idea why that would cause it to work better than what is essentially the same connections. I've got to the end of my knowledge there. Anyway, I'll stop rabbiting on now. I'll catch up with you later. Hey everyone, see ya. Just back with a little bit of an update on where I got to and what I think the problem was with the points not firing over. So I think it came down to these. These are VGA cables. Now the idea for using the VGA cables was that each of these points, these red wires on the points would go into a number on one side of this, which would be connected to the Mimic board, and the other idea was then to have that connected by the VGA to the same VGA slots that would be on the baseboard somewhere, and all of the individual points on the board would come into here, and the corresponding numbers would then link up to the corresponding numbers on here, and therefore fire when you press the momentary switch. That was a theory, and I think there's something not quite right with these. Either I don't understand how they work, or they can't cope with the voltage or amps. I don't know which one it is, but there seems to be definitely a loss of resistance when using these to try to do multiple points. If anybody understands the electrics of that, then let me know. But so the way I was working this is that really the way I was thinking it should work is because you've got numbers on each of these. I don't know if I can zoom in there. If, for example, I had this point over here, number, well, I'll put 8 on here. So if 8 was linked to number 8 on here, and this one is number 3, and that was linked to number 3, which is on the other side, so 8 and 3 are down here. Bosh. Then if I used the 8 and 3 on this side, that's essentially connecting the same points and creating the circuit. That's how I thought it would work. It doesn't seem to be the case. If anybody knows how to wire these things up and whether I'm right in my assumption, could you just confirm for me, because that would be interesting. Or if you've got any other suggestions of what to use, because I don't want to basically have lots and lots of cables from the Mimic board back to the baseboards itself and the actual layout. I just want to have one cable. So essentially I'll have 2 connections to the Mimic board, which I'll be able to then unplug. So the idea would be I got the power, which is over here somewhere, the power. That plugs in. Sorry, that's not the power, that's actually going to the positive, I think, on the CDU. So that's the CDU. CDU plugs in here, and then these would be plugging in to all of the points, and then nice and simple. So yeah, because I'm new to electrics, this has been quite fun fiddling around with it. And then it obviously was just a case of using a bit of logic to go back to basics and go, okay, where does it go wrong? So starting testing each individual point worked, then going direct from the switches, as you saw, and that actually then fired both of them. So then I knew that it must be something on the board. Then I tried going direct from these switches, and they worked. And then I thought, okay, so that must be the problem. And yeah, lo and behold, it's these VGA slots, which is a shame, because actually they were the only ones that I could find that had multiple or enough cables. Because what I got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 different points. 14, I think, actually. I don't know. So I've got quite a lot of cables that or wires that I need to connect back to the board. So what was the other one I considered? Yeah, whether a Cat5 cable would be enough, but I don't think it's got enough cables inside or core within it, so don't know. So that's the end of that. I will put this video to bed now. It's a bit of a long one, but it's just explaining the problem that I had, and yeah, update today on what the findings were. So if you've got any advice, please let me know. Cheers, bye.